ruling. Leland Vittert, host of Unbalanced with Leland Vittert. Leland, good morning to you. So there's a lot of factors that are considered in the college admissions process, right? We can all agree on that. The question being, though, how big of a factor was race? Was it the deciding factor if two students who have applied are equal based on their academic merits? Is race then the deciding factor for affirmative action? It's a question people are going to be talking about today and in the days to come.
For sure, and I think the Supreme Court, in their opinion, made the point, at least in Harvard, when it came to Asian students, that if you broke students up by 10% blocks, that Asian students at the very highest, the top 10%, had the same chance, roughly, of getting in as African Americans in the fourth lowest block. And Asian Americans in that top 10% block had roughly a fourth of the chance of black students getting in. So it was clear that for candidates of equal academic merit, the deciding factor was race. And this is one of the things the Supreme Court had such an issue with. I think it's very interesting to read, actually, the opinions of Justice Clarence Thomas and Ketanji Brown Jackson, the two African-American strongest voices on the court right now, about this issue. And it is searing to read both of them. And you could just sort of imagine the give and take inside the court as this was coming out.
And talk more about the specifics then of what they are saying, right, about the factor of race being applied to the application process.
I think what you're hearing from Justice Thomas is an idea that using race as a determining factor somehow makes the achievements of black kids less, and somehow perpetuates this idea of an underprivileged and held back group. He obviously said it in much better language than I am. And Ketanji Brown Jackson says that's just sort of a utopian view of America that does not exist. So those are the competing arguments. Obviously, in a 6-3 decision, affirmative action is out. I think what you're going to probably see a little bit here is almost like what we've seen after Roe, right? You're going to have some colleges who say, we're done, it's out, it's gone. And of course, there's been, 8 states that have already outlawed it. And then you're going to have other colleges who are going to try to find workarounds, who still want to take race in one way or another into account. And it's going to be interesting to see how that's done. And then if it's challenged legally going forward.
Right. And Justice Sotomayor said that it was a major part of her process in applying to college as well. Interesting, though, Leland, that Justice Roberts left the door open, though, in the actual essay of it, right? That race can still be considered if it is a challenge that someone overcome. If they explain that in their essay process, they're reading that, right? There's some ambiguity here that race cannot be the deciding factor, but if you want to write about it, then we'll consider it.
Well, remember, the Supreme Court isn't exactly doing college, is not the college admissions board. So there's a difference here. But I think your point's well taken, that the idea of having diversity of experiences, and if because of your race you can articulate this different experience, and that's why you are going to bring a different point of view to the class of whatever at whatever university, then that speaks to the university trying to find a diversity of experiences. And if somebody's had a different experience based on their race, that's fine. I think the point that Justice Thomas was making was you cannot assume different experiences and assign different experiences based on race. And the idea would be, why is it that a poor, unconnected Asian student, by dint of their race, does not have the same chance of getting in as a very well-connected, very wealthy black student who went to a prestigious prep school based on their race? So the issue I think you brought up at the very beginning of this is, can race be the determining factor rather than individual experiences or merit?
Right, and you bring up Roe v. Wade, right? People know where they stand on that, right? The opinions are strong. It is black and white. On this, it's more complicated. There's some Pew Research, a report that says 1/3 of Americans approve of the practice of affirmative action, but there is a lot of different opinions out there about this. How do Americans feel by and large about this? Is this, politically speaking, going to be a factor when they go to the polls next year?
I think the idea that it's a little bit like abortion might be similar in that there are very strong views on either side. Some say abortion until the time of birth. Some say that abortion should be outlawed no matter what. And then there's this big middle. And the public opinion in the middle is quite gray. The gray is always, of course, lost in American politics right now and in the discussion and the nuance. But you just hit on the central issue, and I think that's why we're going to hear from the president. It's why we're going to hear from the president in 24 minutes, is Democrats view this as another tool to campaign on and say, look, you've got to elect Democratic senators and you've got to elect a Democratic president.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.